Okay, in a moment, we'll get into some incredible stuff going on with Trump. Never Trumpers, including Hillary Clinton voters and Barack Obama voters, two-time Barack, one-time Hillary, switched over to Trump now. And it's incredible, but also where Trump is going to a fully sold-out, massive billionaire rally in the deepest of blue cities in the whole country. So that's coming up in just a minute. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. 800-288-WBAP is our number. 800-288-9227 on the Chris Crock Show. First, let's go to John Hurst, who's called in. We're talking about the NTTA and Watchdog Report and Dallas Morning News stories chronicling this. What's going on with it. And by the way, my cop buddy who's listening, who kind of give me another backup on this story, why we should do it and stuff, because he helped out one of my friends who was railroaded by a toll authority in Corpus Christi area, and nobody would answer. He couldn't get any assistance, and my friend's a cop, so we helped him out. Ended up going to a lady that he found with the state. It's not her job, but she gave him the numbers to call, and it worked. But this is from the Texas Public Radio article my cop friend bought, and for years, Texas drivers like this guy here that's mentioned in the story have complained about toll payment problems, including double billing, rejected automatic payments, erroneous charges, and invoices with hundreds of dollars of late fees and fines. Toll authorities have acknowledged issues and solved some of them, but others have persisted. Isn't that crazy? So the questions I've been asking you: have you or somebody you know had a bad experience with NTTA or other tollways in Texas, and were you able to get it worked out? And what do you think the state should do? Like, do you think they need to regulate them? My thought is an ombudsman for the state, and maybe a couple of ombudsmans per metropolitan area. At least in DFW and Houston, you'd need probably 3 or 4 or 5, right? And so that somebody's always on duty. Maybe 2 people are always on duty or something during business hours. And maybe 2 in 2 in Austin or something. I don't know, San Antonio, and I assume they have some in SA. And then maybe 1 or 2 in the more smaller areas. Anyway, 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. John and Hurst, you're on 820 AM and now 93.3 FM WBAP. John, hey.
Good evening, Chris. How are you?
Good, friend. How are you?
Good. So I just want to hit a couple of points from previous callers. From my understanding, the foreign country is Spain.
Yes, that's it. I remember that, yes.
Yes, and they have a 57 or 59-year contract on all of these toll roads, and it paid for itself in like the first 8 or 9 months.
Sure.
And so now they're gaining on this for the next 50-plus years.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry, go ahead.
And the thing that gets me is, back when we were kids, when they made I-30, as soon as it was paid for, they took all the toll booths down. Let
me tell you why that's. I strongly disagree with your thoughts on that. And I told my friend this, and he wasn't so sure he agreed with me at all, even though he's wrong and I'm right. I as you are too, and I'm right, but that's okay. We'll let that slide. I will not correct you. I won't even mention it. Oh, wait, what? So, anyways, no. In Illinois, where I was born and raised, and my family still lives in the Chicagoland area where I was born in the city. And they promised, the state did the tolls, and they promised to, once they're paid off, but it's Illinois. And unions and liberal Democrats and a very wealthy people, like not wealthy, but very overly paid union employees that are at the toll booths, or at least were with the toll booths. There's still some, I think. Anyway, all that stuff's protected, so they never ended it, and it never will end, even though they promised it, and it's on the record and everything. So that's different in this instance. This is a private relationship, like a business, where a business puts down billions of dollars, does all the work, takes all the risk. If something happens where the cost estimation is twice as much because of blank, as you know, can happen in businesses and construction. So they bear all the weight, all the risk, not us. and they have all the responsibility. So they get paid like a regular business as long as they can, or the contract is with the state. So the problem, I would say, is certainly not with them. It's with the law, but also there was never a false promise that once it was paid off, it would be fine, because this is not technically you could say it's a business, not a public service, if you will. You know what I mean? It's a quasi-public.
No, I see your side of it. My point in bringing that up is, if Spain's going to come in here and be a private contractor and expand all the highways and make it better for us, how was 820 still a 2-lane road back when it was a 2-lane road when I was a kid and it was backed up then? And now...
Well, 820 obviously is not a toll road.
No. They've added
sure
the toll lanes,
right?
But when they did that, originally it was going to be 3 for the public.
Okay, yeah.
And then 2 in the middle. Now, we made a mistake. Now all of that's all brand new construction, so we've got to unmess it all up and fix it now. Mm-hmm. And how does that make any sense? But anyway,
no. That's a fair point. Give me my 3rd lane and then do a toll lane.
Exactly.
I agree with you.
It's all greedy, and it's all greed, and it's
not greed by the company, because they didn't authorize it.
But the state, there's something going on with the state, because originally the plans were to have 3 for the public and then 2 for the toll lane.
Right.
And then all of a sudden we got 2 and 2.
When did you read that? Was it like in the Star Telegram or something?
It's been a while back.
Okay, no, but I trust you 110%.
That wasn't my point to call in. My point to call in was this. And I just wanted to back that up with the other guys that I talked to earlier. We are a local truck company, and we spent $18,000 on tolls last year.
Wow.
That's just going up Dallas North.
How many employees?
8, and 8 trucks.
What kind of truck? What kind of hauling?
They're flatbed trucks, or they're local trucks that are 3 axles. They're not 18-wheelers or anything. Yes, sir.
And they do charge you per axle after 2, right?
Correct. Yes. And the interesting part is, like the guy said earlier, he's like, man, the 18-wheeler that's doing 65 in the 1 lane, totally get it, because I don't want to get stuck behind the guy when I paid $20 to get there.
Shame on you when you do that to us, sir. Shame on you.
No, the thing that stinks is they need to ban 18-wheelers and trucks, because the government completely regulates their speed, so they're stuck at 65.
You know what? Wow. Okay, so I didn't realize that. We didn't realize that. So what they got to do is you can't go on there as a truck unless it is a 2-lane toll road. Exactly. Yeah, they're not going to do that, though, because there's too much money at stake for the business, probably, but they should.
Absolutely. But my last point is this, is that I had, so you go through this massive, 400-page document at the end of the year, and I had double charges from the tag and the license plate. And I'm like, what? You got to have a part-time job to go.
So they got the tag and they got the license plate. Yeah, you need an auditor for that. You need a.
Wait a minute. And so I got a tag for our church bus, and I stuck it in the bottom of my console in my truck, and completely forgot about it. And I got tagged for that one too.
Well, that's your fault.
You're absolutely right. I
think you should be doubly charged for that, sir.
I already did.
Shame on you. Trying to bilk your church out of money. No, shame on you. Have you no shame?
I forgot to put it on the
Repent! Repent!
Exactly.
Sinner!
Oh, my goodness. No, you're exactly right. And I called them. I'm like, can you help me out with this? Because I didn't even realize it was in the console.
They did it? They did it?
No, they didn't. No, they're like,
well, you just tell your church what happened and you figure it out.
No. I'm talking about NTPA.
No, I know they wouldn't. It is. They're like, if they. I mean, it's their decision. I don't. You just talk. Well, then you got to work with the church, and then you didn't get tax write-off.
No. It was on our account. I was doing it for the church, and put it on our account.
So you're stealing from the church, and you justified it by saying it was for the church.
I gave them. No, I gave.
It was like we have too many Jaguar Jobs here. We're going to tax the church.
I was giving them a free tag so we could help the church out.
Render to John what is John's. John, no, great call, my friend. Thank you for having fun with me. All right. I'll be praying for your soul, sir.
Okay, it's already saved. I guarantee you that.
Bye. Oh, that was great. Okay, Jim in Carrollton is next. And another person on standby, they're going to get screened. And then your call, we got 3 lines open, 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. Have you or somebody you know had a bad experience with NTTA? Were you able to get it worked out? And do you think the state needs to regulate them? I still haven't finished off some of these stories from the watchdog in here. All that next. Chris Crock Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, and now on FM at 93.3. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset. 800-288-WBAP is our number. 800-288-9227. Have you or somebody you know had a bad experience with NTTA or another toll authority in Texas? Were you able to get it worked out? And do you think the state needs to regulate them? 800-288-WBAP is our number. 800-288-9227. Oh, he talks about a 34-year-old woman in 2010 being tossed into jail for 27 hours for failure to pay a 5-year-old bill for $11. And they wouldn't tell the daughter of the woman, whose dad was a state trooper, retired, that she was what she was charged with. She said she never got the original or any follow-up bill warnings. Well, Mr. Watchdog, I'm a big fan of yours when you do it apolitical. This is apolitical. However, I got Chicago police officer retired dad and other cops in my family right now, and it doesn't exempt me. I mean, it doesn't mean that they aren't going to give me a ticket or get me in trouble. So, and it certainly doesn't absolve you. There's state troopers who have kids who grew up to be Hunter Bidens, We have presidents who have Hunter Bidens, in their families. So, doesn't give you immunity. It doesn't shield you. Okay, let's go right to your call at 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. Jim in Carrollton, you're on 820 AM and now 93.3 FM WBAP.
Hi, Chris. I'm having an ongoing problem with NTTA right now. I choose to opt out and not participate in the tolls. So I have avoid toll roads selected on my GPS. However, since I'm in Carrollton, it's always taking me to the George Bush Turnpike. I can't seem to escape it, and then I get bills I don't want. I sometimes outsmart it by taking the exit before or after. But then when I'm somewhere else, it takes me there. And when I call NTTA, they tell me, like I called them today, they tell me that, well, you got to contact the GPS provider. I'm like, no, that makes no sense. I'm supposed to call Google Maps. There's something at the toll that tells the GPS, obviously, it's a toll road, so it knows to avoid it. What's that thing, and can you check and fix it? It seems like something's wrong with it there.
Well, it's with Google. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So the people, the rep says, I have no idea. And then I ask for a supervisor, and she says, I have no idea. I can have her supervisor call me. I'm like, okay. And when I wrote them a letter once, I disputed some tolls and I got out of them. I have like a secret method. But they wrote me a letter like when I first wrote them,
You should be a toll consultant and charge people a fee. Go ahead, sir.
I wrote them like, show me the signage that tells me there's a toll road. Well, sir, our roads comply with all federal requirements, our signage. They just sent me a boilerplate letter. They never look at what I'm telling them.
Well, let me say this. Use Google Maps.
Yeah.
Try Waze.
Waze? My sister's big on Waze. It stopped working correctly, and it'll take me to the middle of nowhere.
Why? Just go to the middle of nowhere. Go where it takes you. They're right. Just trust them. Put your trust in Waze.
Yeah, like that Office episode where they drive into a lake. Well, that's what the GPS said.
I would do it. I mean, if it tells you, and then when it happens, tell your insurance, tell the police, tell the rescue teams and everything. Well, this is where it told me to go. I'm gonna, listen. I have a friend. I got a great little story. I have a friend who lives in, I think South Lake, and he's in Rich Folk area, and he's a great guy, sweet guy. I love him very much, and he is so funny. He's the cheapest of the cheap when it comes to tolls. And I was like, I marveled in it. And he's like, he hates the whole concept and hates it, so he avoids it. And I'm like, dude, you're insane. I'm not going to waste an hour of my time. It's just my theory, my preference. But, I would just try Waze. Do you have an iPhone?
I do, and can I tell you one of the
Is Siri useless? Is Siri useless in that regard?
Pretty much. I'll ask a question, and it will say something totally that doesn't even.
You are in Houston. What? Right, Alaska is north of you.
Hey, where's so-and-so restaurant? It'll say your library book was taken out last
That's exactly right. Well, then, dude, you got a library problem. She knows all. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, when I first came to DFW for the job that I do, I worked, and over just a weekend, I had $80 in tolls. I went to work and went home, and I told my boss, I can't afford to come to this job.
Wait, I'm going to put you on hold. I want to hear you finish, and I want to tell you my recommendations on that or my thoughts. Stand by.
Okay.
We have one line open. This is a wonderful conversation tonight. 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. Have you or somebody you know had a bad experience with NTTA or one of the other Texas toll authorities? Were you able to get it worked out, and do you think the state needs to regulate them? That is next. And more stories from the Watchdog, too, in this article on The Chris Crock Show on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3. News Talk 820 WBAP now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset, y'all. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. The NTTA, overly harsh, called dysfunctional empire, says the Watchdog in the Dallas Morning News. Here's somebody who had they said the mail NTTA sent to some kind of a bad address, and car's annual registration sticker blocked because of an unpaid toll. The NTTA said, responded, I don't know anyone who has gone to jail over unpaid toll. It's up to a toll judge to send somebody to jail because of a failure to appear in court warrant. He says the spokesperson says it becomes a separate issue outside of NTTA's purview. We do not have a role in that process and have no knowledge of its outcome. In Denton, the Watchdog says there was a man whose $3 toll cost him $139 payable to a collection agency. It included 5 charges of $25 each for the same $3. It's like organized crime, one Keller driver said. What is the best way to dispute this government agency? For months, I asked anybody, the Watchdog says, who was treated unfairly to send a complaint to a senator's office. She got 160 letters she waived in the Senate as proof of unfair practices. Several of the 160 even went to Austin to testify, he says. But what else does he say here? Now, 2 billionaires would give thumbs up or down about lawmakers. He's just a little commentary to be silly or funny or whatever. But the bill passed. Fines and penalties were capped. She retired from the Senate, now as Secretary of State. However, it didn't solve most of the problems. The complaints died down to the Watchdog. He named NTTA Most Improved in 2019. He says, turns out I was wrong. There's a series that just came out, called The Toll Traps. And what they're saying is nobody at the dysfunctional empire noticed 192,000 erroneous charges on drivers' bills. Drivers, he says, me included, were told the new toll road would be free for 2 months. The erroneous charges were restored to our accounts. Whoa. TxDOT, which operates toll lanes involved in this episode, blamed NTTA. Since they do the billing, NTTA blamed TxDOT. Oh, my gosh. In 2015, on a Friday, touched down by a snowstorm. Here we go. Almost everybody missed. NTTA dropped bad news that almost everybody missed. I guess so. Pay-by-mail Zipcash drivers didn't get invoices, warning letters, or collection notices in the mail. NTTA apologized to all the customers. Well, he has a little what to do quick section at the end of the Watchdog, and I think that's great. I'll share his highlights. Your story and what you'd like to do. My thought is an ombudsman for each region. DFW has its own, Houston has its own, and then South Texas and Central Texas have their own. Central, which would be San Antonio, Austin, has their own, and then South, going to Corpus and all the way over in the South Texas and the RGV, wherever, like in that region, and then maybe East Texas and maybe West Texas. Probably just need a couple, just a couple people because it's not nearly as crazy there, probably. But anyways, that's my thought. And the ombudsman could intervene and stop any fees or fines and investigate and have a hearing. If needed. Otherwise, they just issue an adjudication. They adjudicate it. They issue a decision. And then whatever it is. That might be a good idea. Just a thought. The Senate has the power to regulate, just on that. So they need to do more, obviously, it sounds like. All right, 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Let us go now to Grayson in Richland Hills. You're on 820 AM and now 93.3 FM WBAP.
Hey, Chris, thanks for taking my call.
You're
I was going to kind of tag on to what the guy said earlier from Hearst about, the 3 lanes and only having 2 lanes. One of my questions I've asked my state rep in the past was, has anybody ever thought about, what they do is they spend it to the taxpayers saying, hey, these people are willing to put up the money to build these roads. But in that money they say that, it's going to take to build those roads. Are they excluding the double exits, the double on-ramps, the double signage, the double lights? Because when you think about the express lanes, they have to double everything to make it work. And so I'm
unclear about what you're saying. I apologize. Can you kind of...
So like when you go on, like where he lives on the Texpress on 820.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you have 2 on-ramps going on to the highway.
Yeah.
One for express, one
Correct.
for the regular lanes.
Right.
And then you think about the flyovers there, 121, 183.
Yes.
Those are probably $1 million bridges.
They're probably multi-million-dollar bridges. Yeah.
Yeah. And so they spend it to you. They go, hey, this is going to cost $4 billion to build, and they're willing to put the money up so you can get it now.
Oh, who's paying for the extra bridge?
Yeah, are we paying for the extra bridge, or is the toll company paying for it?
That's a very good question. I would be shocked or at least surprised if they didn't pay for the toll bridge. Because, TxDOT has the tightest budget in the world, I'm sure. Like, they're probably always underfunded. So they're probably not going to allow that through lobbying the legislature before it all was paid for or decided, because I wouldn't. Would you want to pay for it if you were the state?
No, and I called my state rep to ask that one question. I really couldn't get a clear answer.
Yeah.
No.
Interesting. Yeah, call your state senator. That might get you better. They regulate it, actually, and you can tell them that. Say, I know you guys regulate it. Can you help me with that?
Yeah.
Great question, brother. Appreciate your call.
All right, thanks.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Okay, 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Let's go to Dana in Arlington. You're on 820 AM and now 93.3 FM WBAP. Hi, Dana.
Hi. My story is about my brother. He owed some tolls to the NTTA and basically blew them off.
Oh, well, that's it right there, yeah.
Well, I mean, that's his responsibility. But anyways, the bills were coming to my father's address.
Whoa, was he living there?
And yes. And the thing is, he passed away in April of 2023, and the bills are continuing to come to my father's address. And my father has sent a copy and a letter of the death certificate and is getting nowhere with them.
Wait, your father didn't send it, obviously, because he's passed away, unfortunately, and I'm sorry for your loss, especially so new.
No, it was my brother that passed away.
Oh, your brother did? Oh.
Right.
I'm sorry.
He owed the money, and my father kept telling him, thank you. He kept telling him, you need to pay this because the bills and the late fees are piling up on you. I don't know the amount of what it was. Mm-hmm. So anyways, my father sent a letter with a copy of the death certificate, and it's like talking to the wall.
Does your father operate the vehicle?
No.
Did you sell the vehicle?
That's another story I'll get with.
Because here's the deal. Everything I understand is this. If it's titled under your brother still, he's deceased, or under your dad, or whoever has the title, then, it may transfer to them, or it may, or if your father, whoever's in charge of your brother's estate, whoever's the executor or responsible, is probably going to get nailed. And I would agree.
Well, the thing is, my dad the title was in my brother's name, and my father gave the car to one of his friends to transfer the title. They can't even get the title transferred over a year ago.
How much is owed?
Still not happening. I don't know the amount that he owed on the NTTA.
Did he leave any money with his estate?
No, he didn't. He had epilepsy, and he was in like a...
Did he sell the... Did your dad sell the car?
He didn't sell it for cash. He gave it. He basically gifted it.
Bad issue. Yeah, I would tell bad. You got to. I would say if you want to give it to him, make him pay what's left on the toll. Otherwise, no deal.
The title is still in limbo.
Yeah, now he has to pay for it because he didn't ask the person he gave it to pay for it. You know.
Yeah, I'll mention that. I'll mention that to my father. That maybe those tolls need to be paid to get this title straightened out.
I would call them and ask them. And they'll tell you what the answer that they should know that. And I would be surprised if it's not the reason. And I would say that your father should you can't give it and then ask for you to pay for it. So I think it's too late. If he's got a wonderful relationship with him, you can explain it, see maybe if the guy's willing to chip in, and maybe he's so grateful the car, if it's really worth something, will be willing to throw it back. Unless it's a $500 car, then he might not. Yeah.
Well, it wasn't worth that much. But the guy that he gave it to didn't have much money because he lived in the same housing area.
Is it reliable, and is it taken care of pretty well?
It's drivable, and it's pretty well kept up.
It's worth a lot more than you think. My parents gave my son a Chicago car, which of course has some rust issues because that's how it is there, that my parents bought either brand new or almost, like a year or two old, with like 20 or 30,000 miles on it, and drove it up to 169 or 179,000 Toyota Corolla. And it was taken care of by my parents as you would expect. And my mechanic, there were some things that had to be fixed, but it was only maybe $1,600 or maybe even $1,000 maybe even $800 to get it going. And there's things going wrong with it now because it's like the struts have to be replaced, so the tires are going to keep wearing wrong improperly every year. They're going to have to be switched out. So, but he said that car $10,000. He said you cannot get a car that runs regular and well for under $10,000.
Yeah, I've got a 97 Tacoma with just under 250,000 miles on it.
You do?
Right.
Okay, what was your brother's car? And then I'll let you go.
It was a Corolla.
What year, how many miles roughly?
Like a 2004 and about 120,000 miles on it.
Okay, if it's moderately well taken care of and it's in moderately good condition, that thing's probably worth $7,000 to $10,000. Right now.
Yep.
And it's shocking, but whatever you think it is, it's worth more because you can sell it for more and you can't buy it for less. So your dad needs to, unfortunately, he may have made a mistake, in that regard, and now he might have to pay it. And we need to hope that it's not too much. Great call, and I feel like I'm Dr. Laura or an attorney or a driver, like a driver crimes attorney or something, whatever you call it. Anyways, appreciate your call, my friend. Thank you for calling on Law Talk. All right, we got three lines open: 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. We have John in Dallas and then Jay in Dallas. Are they related? John and Jay, Dallas? Next to the Chris Crock Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3, your ray of light in the evening. What? Tacky tie-in. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Let us now go to John in North Dallas on the North Dallas Tollway and other tollways. Have you or somebody you know had a bad experience with them? Were you able to get it worked out? And do you think the state needs to regulate them? John in Dallas, you're on 820 AM and now 93.3 FM, WBAP.
Hey, thanks for taking my call.
You're welcome.
First off, to my knowledge, I'm not related to Jay from Dallas.
I'll be the judge of that, sir. Next.
Okay. Secondly, believe it or not, I was irresponsible back in the day and was able to accrue around $3,000 in toll and
without the fees. Oh, with the fees.
With the fees and everything.
So you were breaking the law. Right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I was irresponsible.
Okay. Scofflaw.
And something like that. But I got a letter in the mail. This was back in 2008. Saying,
a miscreant. Sorry, go ahead, please.
Yeah, but there you go. But the letter said you owe us $3,000. We're going to take a legal action, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
And I decided to grow up, and I picked up the phone, and I called them, and the lady on the other end said, tell you what, if you come to our office with 10%, we will take everything off. And
whoa, you brought 10% for the big guy.
I gave them 10%, and they washed everything away.
That's incredible. So what that is, what anybody who's moderately, has a modicum of wisdom tells you and knows, if you have a problem with your mortgage or your credit card not paying it enough, you call them and you tell them your situation and the best terms that you can put it in for you, and then you ask them if they can help you in some way. How can you help me with this? And you're not nasty. You just try to have them work with you. And look at that, 10 cents on the dollar.
It was a great day.
There you go. So you're telling me you had an unexpectedly pleasant interaction with NTTA?
Yes. And
after abusing them for years.
Yes. And this was 2008, so I don't know how they are today. I have a toll tag today. I am a responsible driver. I pay my bills today, so nothing but good.
Allegedly, you pay your bills. Okay, sir. You claim that. Thanks for your great call, John. All right, let's go to his better half, his brother that doesn't disobey the law. Jay in Dallas, you're on 820 AM and now on FM at 93.3. Hello, Jay.
Okay, first of all, I'm John's trans sister, and he knows it.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I misgendered you.
Burrito taco incident.
Say it again. I'm start over again. You're Jay's what now? You're his...
I'm John's trans sister, and the whole family has shunned me since the whole burrito taco fiasco. And
so your full name is Gina now, is that right? Gina?
Gina something. Yeah. I'm confused.
Okay.
Delusional.
You're trans queer. Go ahead, sir.
You know what focus groups are?
Yes.
Okay, I went to a focus group about 15, 20 years ago where the Dallas City Council had sold the North Dallas Tollway to pay a few $1 million in bills to CYA so they could stay in their positions, and lost millions of dollars of revenue by selling it to a Spanish company. I was the only person in the room after about 60 people that even knew it had happened. The lawyer goes, and he said, how would you feel if we sold that toll road? And I said, you mean like the one out the window that you sold to the Spanish company? And he goes, you know about that? And I go, yeah, do I look stupid to you? And the whole room just wanted to bloody this attorney, because what they had done is sold it, and they were trying to find some way to present it to the public to make it palatable so they wouldn't all get prosecuted, because what they did was both illegal and unconstitutional by both the federal and the state constitutions.
Well, I mean, why hasn't somebody decided to do a legal case? And there's a lawyer that would be sharp that would do it pro bono, I'm sure of it.
Going against the state and the city council like that, I think you'd be hard-pressed to find an attorney. They're mostly cowards and, much worse than...
They might be able to get, I don't know how the state works, but they might be able to file a suit and get reimbursed for their expenses. I don't know, but I'm not a lawyer. I just am a broadcaster, which is... It's kind of the same. It's the same thing as brain surgery, but it's not lawyer. Okay, my friend?
Well, I got hit for about $40, and I had moved and didn't get the letters, and it ended up costing me about $1,200. I called them. I talked nice to them, told them my situation, which was dire because a illegal alien ran a red light and nearly killed me, and I was on disability at the time, and they hit me for $1,200, man.
So what happened? What'd they do?
They hit me for, it was $1,200, or I was going to have to go to court, and I scraped the money together somehow. I don't even know where.
So they wouldn't negotiate with you or give you a lower...
No.
Whoa.
No. I was on.
All right, I got to roll, buddy. But thank you for your call. Appreciate you. Wow. Ouch.